In a village, there lived a boy named Rocky. He was very troubled. He kept pondering what sins he must have committed in his past life that he is suffering from now. One day, he learned that a sage lived not far from the village who listened to everyone's problems. The next day, Rocky set out to meet the sage. Upon reaching, Rocky saw the sage giving a discourse to some people in his ashram. At that moment, Rocky bowed to the sage and said, "Guruji, a question is arising in my mind." The sage replied, "Speak without hesitation. What question do you have in your mind?" Rocky then said, "Guruji, I want to know what benefit a person receives from feeding a piece of bread to a dog." The sage explained, "If a person understands the 8 benefits of feeding bread to a dog, they will never be unhappy. Feeding a dog a piece of bread grants 8 benefits to a person, and anyone who learns about these benefits leads a blessed life, never facing sorrows. Anyone who feeds a dog a piece of bread on this earth receives 8 benefits and remains happy throughout their life, attaining salvation after death." The sage said, "Listen carefully. I will tell you a story, and then you will understand everything. Once upon a time, there was a black dog. It was very helpless and hungry. It went from house to house in the village, but no one would give it even a piece of bread. The dog wandered around, starving. One day, it reached the ashram of a sage by the riverbank outside the village and said, "O sage, I believe you are very wise and knowledgeable. That is why I have come to you, hungry and thirsty. Please give me a piece of bread so I can satisfy my hunger." The sage asked, "O dog, has no one in the village given you even a piece of bread to quench your hunger?" The dog replied, "O sage, what can I tell you? You won't believe my words." The sage responded, "O dog, tell me. I will certainly believe you. You look very helpless." The dog then said, "All right, sage. I will tell you my story. O sage, the people of this world show no mercy towards us. We have no home, no shelter, and we do not know how to earn food. We do not even know how to wear clothes. Therefore, we wander in the cold, heat, and rain like this. We do not know reading or writing, nor do we know discipline like you. We cannot speak like you, consider it our misfortune, but we also feel hunger, like you. When we are hurt, we feel pain like you. We can cry like you. It is in these 3 things that we match you, so please have compassion for us. Do not give us more suffering. God has already sent us with suffering. On top of that, you people trouble us. We are not human beings like you. We are dependent creatures. When we were born, our eyes and ears were closed. We cannot say if there was music or celebrations at your birth, but who celebrated our birth? We were lying on a soft cotton bed and felt no cold. I thought I was born into a big house, but when I opened my eyes, I saw that our mother, whom you call a dog, was lying in a heap of debris, nursing her 5 puppies. We were 5 brothers, but the other 4 were red and brown, while I was the only black one. Being the smallest, I was also the weakest. Our mother rarely came to us because she had to arrange food for herself. If she didn't eat, how could she feed us milk? We depended on that one mother. She would run around looking for food. Sometimes she would find food, and sometimes she wouldn't. But she always took great care of us 5. After all, she was our mother. She kept watch over the village all night. No one dared to peek into the village with bad intentions. Other village dogs didn't even dare to come to our village out of fear of our mother. Whenever an animal came to eat the crops in a farmer's field, our mother would chase it away. Despite doing so much for the villagers, not a single person would give our mother food. She had to resort to stealing food. Many times, people would beat her with sticks and drive her away. Poor thing would spend the day hungry and thirsty, burning under the sun. She said, "Oh, sage, we feel hunger just like you." On top of that, she worried about her 5 puppies. After all, she was a mother. Hunger wouldn't let her sit peacefully. And if the villagers didn't have compassion for her, She had to sneak around their houses, and if she found anything to eat, she would eat it to quench her hunger. Many times, if people saw her taking food, they would chase her with sticks. Some cruel people would even lock her inside and beat her, making her suffer badly. Then the dog said to the sage, "Oh, sage, what harm did our mother do? She only stole food for her stomach. She has no desire to steal. But a hungry stomach forces us to do these things." One day, there was a heavy rainstorm. It hailed and was cold. In that cold, 3 of our brothers died. That day, our mother cried a lot. But humans did not understand our pain because their children hadn't died. The dog continued, "Oh, sage, now only 2 brothers were left. Our mother took good care of us both." Then, one day, there was a feast at a wealthy man's house in the village, and many types of sweets were being prepared. The wealthy man had many guests over. Our mother kept going back and forth, looking for food, but people would shoo her away. No one had enough compassion to throw a piece of bread to that poor thing. What would it cost them? My mother kept going and standing there. The feast began in the wealthy man's courtyard, and food was being served. My mother also went there, wagging her tail. When the man serving food went inside for a moment, my mother took the opportunity to grab a piece of bread. But another man saw her and shouted, and people rushed towards her from all sides. Hearing their shouts, my mother panicked. 2 or 3 men ran after her with sticks. My mother started to run away, but there was no way out because people were coming towards her with sticks. At that moment, my mother jumped over those who were eating. The dog continued, "Oh, sage, my mother was more astonished at seeing those who were feasting than at escaping. Everyone stood up, stopped eating, and said that the dog's passing had ruined the food. They were all discussing what to do now because the food was spoiled. Then the wealthy man started crying loudly. Some people even said, 'How did the food get spoiled just because the dog walked over it? It didn't put its mouth in the food or anything. It just walked over it.' In cities, people keep dogs and let them sleep inside their homes and feed them. So there is nothing wrong with that. If the dog walked over it, the food has not spoiled." But some people who came from wealthy families did not accept this. They insisted that the food was spoiled and was not fit for eating. In the end, their opinion prevailed. All that food was distributed to the poor. That day, my mother had plenty of food to eat. She had never experienced such happiness in her life. But that happiness became a big trouble for him. She was resting comfortably there after having her meal. Just then, the merchant arrived with a stick and started beating her severely. She didn't even get a chance to run away from there. The blows from the stick made her scream in pain. Even stones melt at the cries of a mother, but that merciless one showed no mercy at all. He kept beating her harshly. Her wails echoed throughout the village. Then some people came and advised him, saying, "Merchant, let her be. A person can lose their sanity in hunger. This is just an animal. What knowledge does it have of good and bad? What will you gain by beating it? What's done is done." After the people persuaded him, he stopped beating our mother. In a very difficult condition, she came to us. Our mother came and told both of us brothers the whole story. We thought, how full of suffering is the life of us dogs. A man beats us as much as a thief for a piece of bread. It's useless. Those who do not understand our pain call us dogs. Oh, sage, it's just a matter of one day. Outside that village, a Brahmin had come and settled down. He made a fire at a place for his meal and put lentils on it to cook. After that, he kneaded some flour and set it aside. He then went to fetch water from the well nearby. Meanwhile, my mother happened to roam around and reached there. Seeing the flour, she thought that perhaps this flour has no owner. Thinking this, she started eating the flour. On the other hand, the Brahmin saw from near the well that a dog was eating his flour, and he became very sad. That poor man started crying because he too was hungry and tired for 2 days. Some people told him, "Oh, Brahmin, "This dog has spoiled your flour. Just yesterday, it ruined the entire kitchen of the merchant." The Brahmin, feeling sad, said, "Brother, how was I to know that this wicked dog was lying in wait to eat my flour?" Without a second thought, the Brahmin rushed at that dog with a stick. My mother hadn't even eaten the flour properly, but she got beaten more than that. For months, my mother wandered around in a staggered state. That day, it became clear how selfish humans are. Whatever work we do for them, they still do not understand us. Then that dog said, "O sage, our shortcoming is that we want to remain under those selfish humans who give us pain. We do not know how much we serve those who feed us lovingly. We guard their homes, and also provide many other benefits that humans do not realize." The sage said that if humans knew the benefits of feeding dogs bread, they could avoid the losses in their lives. Today, I will tell you 8 benefits of feeding bread to dogs that humans do not know. Whenever bread is made at home, the first bread is for the cow, and the last bread is for the dog. The sage said, "That is how God created the order. But forgetting that order, humans eat both the first and last bread themselves. Its negative impact affects their lives." The dog is a creature that, when fed bread, also alleviates the astrological afflictions in a person's life. The sage said the first benefit of feeding a dog bread is that it reduces the negative effects of Saturn. When Saturn casts its unfavorable glance, every person faces ruin. When a person's major phase starts, their well-laid plans begin to fall apart, and they become victims of financial distress. In that situation, if a person feeds a dog bread, the negative impact of Saturn on them is significantly reduced. The second benefit of feeding a dog bread is that luck turns in your favor. The negative energies in your home are eliminated. The third benefit of feeding a dog bread is that Goddess Lakshmi becomes pleased, and there is never a shortage of wealth in your home. The fourth benefit of feeding a dog bread is that you do not accumulate debt, and those who are already in debt are freed from it. The fifth benefit of feeding a dog food in the morning and evening is that your business runs very well. The sixth benefit of feeding a dog bread is that your lifespan increases and blocked finances return. The seventh benefit of feeding a dog bread is that your health remains good, and you stay mentally strong. Your mind is always energetic, and good thoughts come to your mind. The eighth benefit of feeding a dog bread is that God remains pleased because God cares for all living beings. And whoever shows compassion to all beings, God is always pleased with that person. God's grace always remains upon that family. You must have heard from your elders that when a dog howls, it is an omen. A crisis is coming, or someone is dying, so a dog should never be made to cry. Thus, the sage told Rocky about the 8 benefits of feeding bread to dogs. And whoever feeds a dog bread will receive the fruits of these 8 benefits. So friends, how did you like it? Do let us know in the comment section. And if you liked it, do subscribe to this channel.